Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, or welcome in if you're new. I'm racheysims, and today I'm sharing my updated rotational gameplay guide, also known as the Build a City Challenge. It's packed with new tips and improvements to help you create a forever save you can enjoy for years. So get comfy and let's walk through the challenge and see what's new. All right, everyone, here is the revamped rotational gameplay guide. So this is a rotational gameplay guide for the Build a City Challenge, aka BACC. Um, and this is by me. So this is a great way to play if you love playing realistically, if you love playing with legacy households, if you're bored of just playing with one household at a time, then rotational gameplay is for you and this challenge is for you as well. Another thing is if you've always wanted to create your own forever save file, but it just seems overwhelming, then this is for you as well, because we just start off with a few sims and a few households and you slowly build up your town or city over time. So I have modified the Build a City challenge from Sims 2. I have modified it to fit Sims 4 gameplay and especially how I like to play Sims, which I like to play very realistically, and I like to have a lot of goals in my game as well, because that's what we do in real life. We all have goals that we're trying to achieve. So that is what my Sims now have. They have goals that they have to achieve over time. I do have a Google Sheet tracker here, so if you just click the link here, you'll see this little pop up with the tracker, and you just click on here and it will pull up the tracker and you can take a look at that separately. And then I do have a Notion tracker coming soon as well, where you can track all your progress on that as well. So for recommended packs, I do strongly recommend you have the Business and Hobbies pack. I love this pack. This pack just makes gameplay so much more fun. It works pretty well in game without mods. It's a great pack to have. I recommend you play with this. This challenge heavily uses it. I also recommend you have Get to Work, High School Years, Business and Hobbies, which I already said, and Dine Out. I recommend you have those as well. And I do have a video overview of this guide, which will be this video here updated. So I will update that later. And I also have a video of how to set up your save file here as well. So you just hover over those links and you guys can click on that and open them up and check it out yourselves. Okay, so to get started, you are going to start off in a town. So if you want to start off in an American-based town, I have some suggested starting off worlds. You could pick whatever world you're gonna start off in. So I suggest you think about it and don't just start off in Willow Creek. So think about what world you want to start off in as your starting city town. So you are gonna bulldoze every lot in your game. So if you play with mods, I recommend, or you can just download, or you're playing on the PC, I should say. If you're playing on the PC, then you can download a blank save file, and you can download Seriously's blank save file. If you don't want to do that, another thing that you can do, which one of the viewers suggested, so thank them. I'll try to put a link to their comment here when I'm editing, but you can just download a 20 by 15 empty lot from the gallery and place that down in each of the lots. And that will also just make it an empty lot as well. So that is a little quicker than bulldozing each lot. I know for me that takes forever. So you can do that as well. And then I will go over how to expand into other worlds later on here. So you're going to start with some founding sims. So you are going to use a random number generator or a dice and roll between 4 and 6, and that will be the number of sims that you will start off with. And all of these people must be young adults and they all must live in their own home. So one of the founding sims will be the mayor. They're going to operate the city hall, town hall. I just noticed a typo there. I'll have to fix that later. But they will be collecting taxes and managing the town's treasury. So they will have a lot to do. They're going to manage basically the infrastructure, like all the different community lots and stuff that your town has. They're going to be managing that. So they have a big job. So getting back to your founding Sims, then you are going to roll between 10 to 30 to determine the starting funds for them. So 10 will equal 10,000 simoleons and 30 will be 30,000 simoleons. If you don't use any kind of mods or something where you can easily update that, then you can use this money cheat here. And I do have some other cheats at the bottom of this document too that might be helpful for those who don't use mods. Okay, so your starting funds have to be so once you move in with between 10 and 30,000, your starting funds will have to be $100 or less after you've built and furnished. So keep that in mind. You are going to be playing each household rotationally. So I suggest splitting your week in half. So this is how I play. I have 2 rotations in a week. And this just helps me not get bored, because if I play with one household for a week, I kind of get bored. If that's not you and you want to play for a full week, then go ahead. But I split my week into half. So I do Sunday through Wednesday and Thursday and Saturday. And then what I do is so household A and household B. Household A is Sunday through Wednesday. Household B is Thursday through Saturday. And then I'll switch that off. So household A is now the next round Thursday through Saturday. And then household B is now Sunday through Wednesday, just so they have a full week. That's how I do it. So for the next thing is survival phase. So they cannot have any in-game jobs until they are unlocked, and I'll go over that in the career goals section. But each of your sim, they will start money by foraging or fishing and selling what they have from their inventory to make enough money. And then once they have enough money to buy a selling table, they will buy that. And then they need to sell everything they find from foraging or fishing from that table. And then their next goal would be to get up to 750 simoleons so they can open a small business, a home-based business. And then they can also take out a loan to do that as well, but they have to have that bank unlocked first before they can start taking out loans. So when you first start off, it's a little hard. You're gonna spend probably a few sim days earning some money so you can open up your home-based business. You can also start the business. If you don't want to start the business in your home, you can start it off lot. But like I said, you have to have enough money to do that, and you have to wait till that banking is unlocked. And then once your business reaches a level 5, then you will receive a $25,000 grant, and that must go to renovation of the business. So you can use it to upgrade your home business in your home. I suggest you just move it to a new lot though, so it doesn't have to be in your home anymore. You could use the money towards that, or you can even use it towards opening a new business. And then once your business reaches level 5, you also will unlock a career. So we'll go over that in the career goals section. All right, so now talking about utilities and services. So I do play with mods. I do recommend you play with mods as well for this. Just it makes it a little bit easier. So one mod I recommend is the S&B bills mod, and that revamps the in-game bills where you have realistic bills like water and sewer, electricity, trash, cable, internet, cell phone, and property taxes. So I really love that. It really makes the game more realistic. And then the S&B bank mod, this lets you take out loans. It just makes banking more realistic as well. So I recommend that as well. And then I also recommend the firefighter active career, and I'll talk about that down below. So these are all the different services using that S&B bills that I play with. So for electricity, the mayor must buy and place a power plant down in town For those playing without mods, you will need to use the off the grid lot trait until you unlock electricity and water. But that is how you unlock electricity. You must have a power plant down. And there's some great power plants on the gallery that I just used to add that in. Water. So there is a debug water tower. And I usually just download this from the gallery to any empty lot in town, and that must be built. For those playing without mods, you'll need to use the off the grid lot trait for the water as well. Garbage collection. So that's unlocked once the city hall is built. And then the cable, TV, internet, cell phones. So electronic store must be open for this to be unlocked. It doesn't have to be 5 stars. It just has to be open. And for those playing without mods, you just can't purchase TVs or computers until that's unlocked. All right, next is the fire station. So your community must have had 3 fires. Plus the town must pay for a fire station lot. So that has to come for the town treasury for the fire station. And then this will also unlock the smoke detector. If using mods, this fire station will be operated by a playable sim, and they will work in a firefighter career. So if you do not use mods, your playable sim must operate the fire station as a small business. So cheat their funds so they can purchase fire station as a small business, and the town will have to still pay for that lock. So you'll have to deduct the funds from the town treasury. Police. Your community must have a town sheriff. This is a playable sim that doesn't own a business. They are gonna work in the detective career. So you would need the get to work pack for that. This will also unlock the burglar alarm. And then you can also have the ability to auto notify the police. So I have updated this in the document about the orphanage because I don't think this was too clear. But the town hall is required, and a playable sim has to want to give up a baby or child for adoption. Now, the orphanage must be run by a playable sim, and they will work as the town social worker, and the social worker's home lot is the orphanage. So basically, the whoever you pick as a social worker, they will buy a house, and that house will be the town's orphanage. The hospital. So that is unlocked after the first baby is born in town. You must also have a playable sim as the doctor for this. And then they have to have a doctor's office in town before the hospital can be unlocked. Bank. Okay, so banking. I talked about banking a little bit earlier. So to unlock banking, you have to have electricity, internet, and cell phone. They have to all be unlocked, and the bank lot has to be placed or built before you can take out any loans. The bank does not need to be player owned. I do suggest using the SB Bank mod for this. And loans can't be taken out until it is placed. If you are playing without mods, you do not need to add this a lot in your game. You can use the in-game ask for loan system. So that is if you have a high enough charisma skill, your sims can ask other people for loans. So I would just do that. But you still have to unlock it by having electricity, internet, and cell phone services provided. So even if you guys aren't playing with mods, you still need to keep track of these things that you need to unlock, as well as far as your different town services. All right, so for townies and relationships, so townies are locked until electricity is unlocked and the first business is open. So you cannot interact with townies until you have electricity unlocked and your first business is open. You can have romantic relationships with townies, and they can move in. So not just townies, but townies, settlers, founders, they can move in via marriage or in the roommate system. And also, if you do use a mod like MC Command Center, your game may move a townie from another playable household into yours if you have similar settings, and that's fine. but they must get engaged at a minimum within 1 week of living together, or they have to break up and move out. So I just put this stipulation on just so you're not having another sim helping you out that isn't really contributing to the household over time and into your legacy over time, basically. So you do need to get engaged at least 1 week of living together. So keep note of that. Townie fun. So when a townie moves in, you also need to kind of do the same thing that you do when you move in a founder or settler. You need to roll between 10 to 30 to determine how much money they're bringing in. And if your founder or settler divorces a townie, the townie will leave with half the household net worth. So I just put this in so you're not having a townie move in, just getting all their money and then kicking them out. They have to leave in with half of the net worth. So that is the house, the business, any simoleons in the bank. They have to take that with them. So you do earn new Sims, aka settlers, after every new business is open. So you want to keep track of that. And that's where that tracker comes in. You can keep track of all the stuff, guys, on that. So for a recommended mod for world expansion, I do recommend Sweet Life. So just when your Sims want to get away somewhere, you can use that mod to kind of stay in a hotel. And I do kind of talk about this more here. If your starting world is Willow Creek and you want to unlock Oasis Springs next, your town treasury has to have $500,000 in it before you can unlock it. And then you also need to have a train or bus station as well. So let's say if you just want to travel, if you want to go on vacation somewhere, then you just need a bus or train station to do that. But if you want to live in that other world, open a business in that other world of Oasis Springs, then you need to have 500,000 in your treasury. And then travel costs are $200 round trip. So Magnolia Promenade, to open that world, since that world is so small, that just requires one 5-star business. And then I just recommend placing businesses there. It's so small. Can't do much there. You don't have to have 500,000 to unlock Magnolia Promenade. So I do in my game, I kind of make these worlds international worlds. So this would cost $1,000 round trip to go there, and you also need that bus or train station. And then you can just travel to those worlds. You can't reside in any international worlds. So if you are international simmer and let's say you wanted your starting world to be Nordhaven, you can just flip it on its head, right? These would be your residential worlds, and then these will be your international worlds. Guys, make this challenge your own, please. These rules are a guide. They are not to be followed 100%. You make this what you want for your gameplay. All right, so for university for Brightchester, that requires 500,000 in the town treasury, and then your town must also have an elementary school lot, a high school lot, and a bus or train station lot as well. All right, so for aspiration goals, I do recommend this mod for 5 new aspirations for children. And I think the new pack adventure awaits added more childhood aspirations, if I can remember correctly, if I'm right. Um, so you can just use that too as well. So if your child or teen completes their aspiration, um, while they're a child or teen, they will earn 10,000 simoleons, and then they have to pick a new aspiration. If your young adult or elder completes their aspiration, they will earn $50,000 if completed. And then they have to pick a new aspiration. So if let's say, you pick an aspiration, you complete it, and then you pick your second aspiration, you complete that, you still earn another 50,000 for each aspiration you complete. So that's a great way to earn money too if you're really good at completing aspirations. If you really make that a priority in your gameplay, then you will be rewarded with some simoleons. Career goals. So I talked about this a little bit earlier about unlocking different things, and this can be also tracked on the tracker. But a mall, and then I also added this as well. I have a mall. It's considered a wild card and will unlock any one career of your choice. Because a mall, if you have that lot, it's multiple businesses. So keep that in mind. If there's a certain career you really want to unlock, but you don't want to necessarily build that lot, you can use a mall to unlock that. All right. So down here I have a list of careers, their branches, and how to unlock it. So for example, your actor sim, if you have somebody that loves performing, to unlock this career in game, then they have to have an a acting school performing arts theater. So let's say you have a founding sim that is bringing live theater to the community, and they open a performing arts theater where they put on shows and stuff like that. Then once they get that business to 5 stars, it is unlocked permanently for every generation, for every person. So you don't have to keep having multiple businesses owned by different people to unlock it. No, it unlocks it for everybody. So I wanted to specify that. So if you can scroll down, it's a long list. There's lots of lots of careers in this game, but these are the career and the branch. So like the astronaut has two branches, right? It has a space ranger and a stellar. So I have what needs to be unlocked for that. So it could be like this one is just a business, right? But this one you also need the bus train station as well as electronics to open it. So some things are different. So you'll just want to look to see what that is. Like the business career, you just need any level 5 business to open that. This is a long list, so just take a look at that as well. All right, so the next section is our tax system. So I believe I've updated this. Once your sim opens a business or gets a job, they must pay 10% in taxes to the mayor. You must pay taxes once a week for any money earned from a business or a EA job. So I usually just have my Sims pay taxes Sunday at 5 a.m. before I switch to the next household. Just at the end of their week is when you want to pay taxes. And then I use SMB bills to send taxes to the mayor. And then if you don't use mods, you can use cheats to do that as well. So that's an example of what you would do there. So when you're first starting out and you're just selling items from your inventory or selling table, you don't pay taxes on that. You don't pay taxes until you actually open a business or get a job. All right. So if you are using the S&B Bills mod, you will earn interest from your bank account and you'll need to keep track of that on the tracker. And if you aren't playing without mods, if you actually I think if you have the Fabsly Wealthy aspiration, you can earn interest. So you would also need to keep track of that if you have that aspiration. There are other miscellaneous taxes to keep track of that will pop up over time. I kind of go over that more down here. And this is where I have updated it as well. So this is the legend. So anything green is required. If it's just like this, if it's just white, then it's required if using no mods, and the yellow is optional. So these are ways to make your tax system even more robust and earn more money, and just kind of explain it a little bit better. Anytime you buy an empty lot, then you have to put that money that goes in the town treasury. So, for example, in Willow Creek, Potter Splay is 2,500. So that is what would go to the town treasury for the cost of that lot. Anytime you'll get an in-game pop-up for anytime a small business you open that you have to pay 750. That's not really pop-up, but anytime you open a small business, you have to pay 750. So that you need to keep track of as well. And then this is an in-game pop-up. With the business and hobbies pack, you'll occasionally get audited, and that's about 4,500 simoleons. Your property taxes. So I do use a mod for that. And then the property taxes that you pay with the S&B bills mod, that has to go to the town, so that needs to be tracked. Now these ones right here are the ones if you're playing unmodded. So for property taxes, if you have a small home under 20K, then that is $200 a week. And I think to make it more realistically, you would just pay it per season. So that gives you some time, hopefully, to save up for it. And then if you want to, you can change that to a year, but I think that would be harder to keep up with it. I think a week would be easier. If your house is a medium-sized house, it's 20K to 49K, then that would be 500 a week in property taxes. And then if you have a large home, 50K to 99,000, then that would be 1,000 a week in taxes. And if you have an extra large home over 100,000, that would be 2,500 a week in taxes. All right, and these are some optional ones that I've thought up. And you guys might have suggested them as well in the comments. But for rental units, if you own a rental unit, you'd have to pay 10% earnings per round in taxes. Restaurant license, if you wanted to open up a restaurant with the dine out system, that would be 750 simoleons. Retail registration, if you wanted to just open a retail store with the retail pack, then that would be 750. Lot rezoning, if you wanted to rezone a lot from residential to business, that would be 750. Luxury tax, so if you so you can charge Sims that purchase items over $3,000 from Build Buy catalog 10% of the item costs, and all these funds would go to the town treasury. Construction permit, so when doing any building on your property, like a addition, renovation, that would be 500 simoleons. A home buyer's tax, so when buying a home that's already built, that would be 1,000 simoleons to buy a house that's already built. A marriage license, anytime you're someone to get married, they'd have to pay $500, and this would probably pay for like the mayor to officiate. The birth registration fee, that would be 500 simoleons. So anytime a baby is born in game, that would be 500 simoleons. This would be a struggle for your poor Sims though, so keep that in mind. And then a death tax. So anytime a Sim died, they would have to pay 20% of the home and business value back in taxes. And then a late fee. So anytime they were late paying any of these fees, you could make a late fee of 5% of the cost for them. And I do have a video overview of that tax system where I go over that more in depth. All right, next is the education system, which I definitely did not talk about enough when I first made this challenge. I kind of just had it in my head, but now it's on paper. It's here for you guys, or on the screen, I should say. But the education system. So at the heart of any thriving town is a functioning educational system. So your town must raise funds from taxes, fundraisers, or donations to build your public schools. All right, so homeschooling. So all school-age children and teens must be homeschooled until an elementary school and a high school are built. If you don't use mods, you will have to use cheats to fix your Sims grades. If you do use mods, I recommend Education Overhaul for homeschooling. You can also use the MC Command Center to have your Sims quit school. Then one Sim parent will need to make sure their children are learning skills at home. Elementary school. So, an elementary school must be built using the town treasury. With the Adventure Awaits expansion pack, you can create this in game without mods. So, I did make a video on that showing you how to do that. And then you can also use the Go to School mod to create an active elementary school for your Sims to go to. So, for high school, so we have a high school expansion pack. So, you would use that to send your teen Sims to school, and the town treasury funds must be used to build the high school as well. And the high school pack does require a separate lot as an auditorium for stuff like the career day, prom, graduation, all that stuff. So don't use town funds to buy that because at a real high school, it's all in one building, it's not separate. So this will be a free of charge lot. All right, field trips. So you can add more gameplay as well to your high schools by having them go on field trips. So I did this with Adventure Awaits pack. I think it's a great way to occasionally, maybe like, I don't know, maybe twice a sim year. You could take your sim on a field trip just to get them out of the classroom and learning something and just add some more fun gameplay. Junior college. So with the business and hobbies pack, you can create a functioning junior college for your recent grads to learn skills and get a jump on university. So for that, a junior college would need to be built using town treasury that would come from town funds. The mayor will appoint a president to own this lot and run the college as a small business. This person does not need to be a playable sim, and you can appoint a townie or create a new sim to be present, whatever you want to do with that. But when attending junior college, I suggest attending for 5 sim days, Monday through Friday, and attend 2 classes a day at the junior college. And if you graduate, you can skip 2 terms using cheats or using the MC Command Center mod. If you want to graduate and go on to university, you can do that. University. So to attend university, your town must have 500,000 simoleons in the town treasury, have an elementary school and a high school. You must also have transportation to other worlds unlocked. And this will require Discover University pack. So when I play, I usually play with shortened terms. So the default game requirement is 12 credits, and I suggest shorten it to 6 or 8 credits. And here's a mod suggestion here for that. And then also while playing, I suggest you move the group you want to play at university all at once. And I also suggest you turn off aging for this as well. Aging at university, they're going to be go on forever. If you keep aging on, they're going to age so much. So just keep aging off when they're at university. And then for gameplay, I would just recommend you play like one household at a time and make them finish their term before switching to another household. You definitely should do that when you're playing. All right, private schools and boarding schools. So in the US, we typically private schools are started by religious organizations, so I figured that would be the same way in The Sims. I do suggest you run these with Adventure Awaits pack and run them as getaways. So for those attending boarding schools, they could attend those in other cities as well. You just need to make sure you have transportation unlocked. And anything that you go to in another city, it's not player owned, it's owned by whatever cities. So keep that in mind. But anything like if you want to start a private school in your actual city, then that does need to be owned by the religious organization in that city. For aging, I do suggest you play on normal lifespan. So when I first started playing this, I had a long lifespan, and then my businesses were getting a 5-star ranks, and my kids were still really little. So I don't think that's realistic. So because of that, I think normal lifespan is better. But I do have my lifespan slightly altered a little bit. It is approximately like 2.5 real life years per sim day. But you can see this is the lifespan I use with MC Command Center if you want to use it. If you don't have MC Command Center, I recommend playing on normal lifespan. Another thing I don't think I've ever talked about is like the in-game setting. So for aging, you want to have it where it's only your active household ages. That way, only your active household will age up. And then you want to uncheck unplayed households will age up. So I only check that on the last round, so the last person I play in my rotation, then I check it then so that the townies age up with the residents. And that's what I do. And then another question I've gotten as far as like future generations go is what do you do like if you have a family of 5 kids in future generation, you don't necessarily want to play them and you're going to run out of housing too if you try to play them as well. So I recommend just picking, like one or two sims from each of your generations to actually play with and then make the other sim children your townies. So let's say you have a family of 5 and you really like two of the sims, like the two oldest, let's say you really love them, and your other sims you kind of your sims household was crazy, you didn't really get to spend as much time with them, you didn't really get to develop them as much, but you really developed the first 2 sims, you really want to keep playing with them. So you play with them, and as far as your other 3 sim kids, when they age up, you just move them out and make them townies. But that way your family can still get together. You can have family reunions and get family get-togethers with everybody still, but you're just not playing them. So here's another example. Your sim owns a town bar, mayor's a townie, but a few years into the marriage, he's constantly cheating on the wife or whatever. He wants to get a divorce, and you just don't want to play that townie anymore. You can make that townie a townie at any time. You can make any of your playable sims a townie at any time if you get sick and tired of playing with them. You don't necessarily want to kill them off, but you can make them a townie too. So that's another option that you can make as well. Or let's say you're the person you playing with that owned the bar, the wife you love more that was a townie, you love that one more than the actual bar owner. You can make that person a townie. Just don't do it with your founding sims, those you have to keep playing with. But your settlers, your townies, stuff like that, you can make into a townie at any time. Another way to add more realism in your game is with religion. So you can play with this without mods. You can have a playable sim be a pastor and they can build a church. And you can do some gameplay that way. There's also a great mod called Rambunctious Religions that adds religion to your game, and you can do that as well. Another gameplay idea you could do with your pastor is they could actually run the orphanage, or they could help raise funds for the orphanage. They could counsel your sims. They could be the ones that officiate the marriages, the funerals, all that. So that is an option as well. I did want to talk about politics a little bit more because we do have a mayor sim. But besides running the town hall, they can do other things as well. They can host fundraisers, aka parties, and raise funds for the city. They can collect donations from citizens by asking for loans. So you could do this stuff before you actually get in the politics career. This is some of the stuff that you can do. You can add elections into your calendar every 2 or 4 sim years and pick an opponent to run against the mayor and have them debate. And then whoever wins the debates, you can make them mayor. So there's a chance that your mayor could get unelected. As well, you can do some gameplay like that as well. There is also a mod called the Political World mod, which I've been playing with a little bit on my hiatus, and I have really enjoyed it. It adds some fun political gameplay into the game. It could be a little too real, but if you enjoy that, then that's something that you can add to your gameplay as well, especially with the mayor, and add even more gameplay to your mayor sim. All right, a quick start option. So when I started playing my forever save on this channel, I had one that I had been playing for months and months. Basically, I had once Business and Hobbies came out, I was like, let me restart this challenge. So I had been playing that challenge since that came out. And even before that pack came out, I was playing with retail, but I started a brand new save when that pack came out and just played with Business Hobbies and really fell in love with it and started and played this way like all the time. Um, but when I'm playing by myself, I can play like while I'm watching TV with my husband and stuff like that. I can do that, and I can't record as much as I would play on my own. So I thought about doing a quick start option for you guys. And if you guys are just, don't have as much time to play The Sims as you would like, and you want to kind of build up things a little bit quicker, or you've been playing a bit, but it's still not build up fast enough for you, you can do this quick start option. Okay. So, if you want to be able to travel to other worlds or even just have the money to have your sim attend school, I have an option for you. You can have the mayor sell a piece of land to the sim national government for 500,000 simoleons. This land will now be federal land, and you must place a military base on this lot. This will also unlock the military career. You must move a sim in the military career and cheat them to a level 7 courageous captain. The captain will run the base as a getaway. This does require Adventures Awaits expansion pack, or you can run it as a small business, and that will require business and hobbies. You do not need to actively play the captain of this lot unless you want to. They will be considered a townie. And then your playable sims who join the military career must attend boot camp as a getaway at the military base and work their way up the ranks by working from home and traveling to the base to work there. So this is a new option for you guys. If you like a little more funds in your treasury, this is a great way to do that and add some realism and gameplay. All right, so another section I don't think I've ever really talked about is the optional gameplay enhancements. So one way to enhance your game and add some more plot twists, some more drama, you can use this plot twist wheel, which I'll click on right here so you can see it. And then it's a spin wheel that you just spin, and everything I have in the guide, all 100 options are on here. And then you would just spin it, and then it tells you the plot twist. So for this one, you find out a secret about a sim and blackmail them. You receive an extra $1,000 each round in payment until that sim passes away. So, ooh, that's a good, that's a good plot twist one that will help you add some simoleons to your household. So I have a lot of different options on here for that. So you guys can scroll down and read all of them. And then you can change or edit them as you see fit, make your own spin wheel, or even just use a random number generator to pick which number you want to choose. So that is that option. I'm going to actually start on the next round with Lucas. That is the next household I'm playing in my own BACC rotational gameplay. I will show you guys that we're going to start incorporating that now that we played each household. And I would have done it the last round with the mayor and Kenji, but they had too much stuff to do that round. I could not have time to throw some random drama in for them. So we look forward to seeing that. Those that watch my gameplay videos, you can see me use this wheel in my rotations. All right, next. So here is a little mini list of recommended cheats for those who don't use mods. So these are ones that I could think of. I added them here. Any of you guys playing this and you have any other cheats that you think will be helpful, please leave a comment in this video and let me know so I can add it to the list. These are just some ones that I can think of that, like the money ones I've had already in here, but I thought this might be helpful for those of you guys that are playing on console and those that can't play with mods. And then for those that do play with mods, I have this recommended mod list. So I do recommend that you guys always use Scarlett's mod list to check to see if these are updated. And then I also have a link here with all the mods that I have in my game, which is much more than here. But these are some of the mods that I thought would be helpful. Some of these are ones I already mentioned in previous sections, but there are other mods on here too that I use even for the small business stuff that I thought would be helpful. So I wanted to add those here. So yeah, so those are some of the essential mods that I deem essential to playing this way for those who use mods. And then this section right here will be a frequently asked questions section. So I link my fact video that I did previously here, and then any other facts that I start to get after this update, I'm going to add here as well. So those questions that I get like a couple times, I'm gonna add here. And then credits. So I did not create this challenge from scratch. This is modified from various Sims 2 BACC challenge players and creators, mostly from the Sims 2. There is one from the Sims 4, but it is very, very, very different than mine. So I linked that too because I did look at that one as well. But yeah, so that is it. So now I will go over the tracker again for those who are completely new and haven't seen that before. So, for those who are brand new to this challenge, then I have a Google Sheets tracker where you can keep track of everything on this tracker. So, I have it divided into sections, but basically this is the rules page. So instead of having to go to the Google Doc to look at all the rules, you can just go here for the quick easy rules. But I do encourage you to read the Google Doc because it might fill in some more information than what's on here. I have a get started section, which we went over this already in the other section, but you just, as you do each thing, you just check it as you do each thing. So the first thing you do is choose whatever world you're going to start in. And then when you do that, you click that. Once you have all the lots bulldozed, you click that. Once you generate your townies, you check that. So you just check everything as you do it. So this section right here is getting started. And then gameplay goals is over here. So this is the gameplay goals for each household: buy a selling table, save for your home business, save maybe for a off lot community, a different lot, a business on a different lot, reach level 5 business, complete your aspiration. So you check each of these things off as you're playing, and this is more to be used as you're playing each household. Services to unlock. So I have that here. So as you unlock each thing, you just check it off, and then you know what you have unlocked and what you don't. So this is super helpful. Townies, I have the information about townies. So once you have them unlocked, you can click here, but then it also breaks down romantic relationships with them, and then the random number generator about what to do when they do move in with you. Making money and taxes. So there are separate tabs, but this is basically how you make money in the game. And then that has that information there. And then over here is your stats. So as you're playing, you want to keep track of, if you want to keep track of how many playable Sims you have, so you know how many new Sims you can bring in, how many new businesses you can start, things like that, you want to keep track of here. And then like your burglaries and fires, you need 3 of those, so you want to keep track of that here as well, so you can bring in your firefighter, your fire station, and your police station here. And then any additional worlds you unlock, you keep track of here. But this is just so you can easily see an overview of your town and see what you need to work on as far as businesses, those emergency services, stuff like that here. Your community lots, you can keep track of that here. If you want to keep track of how many player owned, how many government business lots, how many level 5 businesses, you can keep track of that there. And then these are just some miscellaneous rules here as well. Just these are kind of the quick, dirty rules, and the things that you want to keep track of are all on this page. And then last over here, we have our other worlds. So as you expand into other worlds, as you build your bus or train station, you check that off here. Once you get your first 5-star business, you unlock Magnolia Promenade, and then residential worlds. Once your treasure reaches 500,000, you could actually incorporate into an additional world. So you have that there. And then Brightchester as well, you need 500,000 simoleons in your treasury for that. So that is that section. And career, we also showed this on the Google Doc, but this is basically where you keep track of everything as you unlock it. So let's say you unlock the actor career, you would change that to yes. And I have mine highlighted green, so you could do that as well, just so you know quickly what is unlocked. So as you unlock each thing, just make sure you write it down here, just so you know what you have, what EA career that you have unlocked. Treasury. So for this, I'm not going to go into it too deep, but this is where you document all of your land purchases and business fees. I did go over that pretty in depth in the other video, but this is similar to what is on the Google Doc, but this talks about all the different fees, what's required, what's not required, what's optional that you can impose, and all of that would go on here. I do have an example tracker as well that I will definitely link below too. So if you want to see kind of how that's filled out, you'll get a better idea of that. So the neighborhood treasury, so whatever's in your town treasury would go here, and then whatever world that you're starting in, the town name will go here. Any lot that is paid for by the town, I do list here so we can keep track of that. So community lot wish list is for stuff owned by the town. So if you want a library, that would go here. If you want an elementary school, that would go here. And then what I recommend you do, when you're scrolling the gallery, you find stuff you like, put it down in another world, see how much it costs, and add that here, save it, and then you know how much you need to save for. And this is for future businesses as well. So what you should do is go over here to the career tab, and you can write down all of the businesses that you really want first. Write them down, put them here in order of what you want, and you can even incorporate the price as well here if you want to know how much it is. But the next bit, so then you don't forget when you're playing what business you want to start next, what playable sim do you want to bring in to open that business, then you kind of know here, if you kind of list them out in order. This is an example of the household income tax, and that is on another tab, so I'll show you that there. And then over here, this is where I keep track of what family paid taxes each round. So if the Miller family paid $1,000 in taxes, I would write that here. All right, so over here are the miscellaneous fees and taxes. So they would go over here. That is where all of these miscellaneous fees and taxes would go in this section: land purchases and sales that go to treasury, and extra donation, and land purchase business fee. This section right here is where all of these miscellaneous fees are. So the green are required, so that is required in my gameplay. Anything white is required if you're not using mods. So if you're not using mods, you cannot do the property taxes here. So you need to use all the property taxes here. And anything yellow is optional. So if you like to squeeze your Sims for more money, you can do that here. It's just extra stuff to keep track of. So it's up to you if you want to do it or not. Some people love playing with the tax system and some people really don't like it. So it is up to you. Population is right here, and this is just where I keep track of each household and their different information, just so I kind of don't forget. But you just fill that out as you're doing it. Calendar. So I use this to keep track of what holidays that I have in my game. So if I ever want to have a holiday added, and I kind of can figure out what I want to do, I have it here. I also play for 2-week seasons, so that is why you see 2 weeks per season. But while you're playing each sim, if you want to remember, let's say you're playing Sunday through Wednesday, and your baby's birthday is on Tuesday, you will have a birthday party. You put it here just so you remember kind of stuff that you want to do. If you have a household with 2 Sims that own businesses and they each own different businesses and you want to rotate, you could put some A here, some B here, some A here, some B here, and then you remember as you're playing them how, like, what days you wanted to have them open their business each day, and then you just kind of keep track. But this is just for you guys to use to keep track of stuff while you're playing. The tax tracker here, so I kind of showed that in the treasury tab, like a glimpse of what that looks like. So each household here, you put the household name. So let's say Smith is here, the Smith household. And then as you're playing them, their income that they earn from running their business, or once you get to unlock their EA career, you put all of that here. And just remember, any income earned from a selling table, or just selling stuff from the inventory is not taxable, so you wouldn't put that here. But all of that would go here. Your bank account interest. So you can get that with a mod, and there's also a way without a mod that I talked about in the Google Docs section. That would go here, and then it totals it for you, and then it tells you how much taxes you owe down here. So you just fill out this for each section, and then after each round, once you pay taxes, then you can delete it. And just remember, as you pay your taxes, to remember to add it over here, and then it will eventually get added to the town treasury as well. Plot twist. So I have a link here to the spin wheel where you can use, or you can just use a random number generator too. And I have everything here. This is great if you want to change all of these options yourself. You can just do it right here. So that's basically why I have this tab included. And then it also just has a link to the wheel if you do want to use that. And then I have a credit section. So for this spreadsheet, I did modify it from T Addicts. She is a Sims 2 simmer, and she has a great Sims 2 BACC that I've enjoyed watching her play. And then this is her spreadsheet, and that is a link to that spreadsheet as well. So that is the Google Sheet tracker. So I will have a link to that as well as an example link below. And here is the soon to come Notion tracker for this challenge. I'm just going to give you guys a brief look at it right now. I'm going to go more in depth into this in a separate video, but I think this video is going to be long, and the Notion thing I want to do separately for those who are interested in a Notion tracker template. But you'll see over here we have some quick links to different parts of the challenge. Where over here is where you can add in your individual Sims that you're playing, and your households, you can add them over here. We have a town finances section. So we have our treasury, our land, town-owned lots, resident taxes, all that's going to go over here. Our stats, where we can keep track of all of our stats. Our community lots, where we can keep track of how many lots that we own. Our wish list, that we can add that here for community lots and businesses here. So I'm going to go into this more in depth in a separate video. So make sure you are subscribed so you get notified when that pops up on the channel. And if you have any questions, make sure you drop a comment below. Any questions about the challenge, any questions about the tracker, let me know below. And if you guys have any suggestions on things that I could add to the challenge, please feel free to leave those below as well. All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys that stayed to the end enjoyed the sneak peek of the Notion template. That will be the next video that premieres on my channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll get notified when that video comes out, and then make sure you hit the like button on this video if you liked all the changes that you saw, all the further explanation that I gave on this challenge for you guys. When I first posted that, I had no idea so many of you guys would like it and want to play it. So it is definitely long past time that I updated it, and I had a chance while I was taking a break from making videos while my husband was recovering from his back surgery. And thank you guys so much for everybody who wished him well as well. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I will see you next time. Bye.